All right, what's up, everybody? It is May 28th, 2026. It is Just Blues and Cards with myself, TJ Weber, and the wonderful Nick Yale, all the way from Dallas, Texas. Nicholas, how are we?
Good, man. Good. Not a great week for the Cardinals. So I was telling you pre-show that it's going to be a little bit of a different show. We're going to be doing a lot more bitching today.
We are going to do more bitching. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I don't know where we want to start. Let's start with a little positivity. Brian Torres coming up, his first ever Major League game after 11 years in the minor leagues, hits a home run. I mean, it was exciting. That was fun. And then all of a sudden, the week just went to shit. That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, man, he almost had the walk-off, again, recording this one on Thursday. Wednesday, almost had a two-run home run to take back the lead after Dustin May's near no-hitter, but he made a tough play in left field that I think Nathan Church probably would have caught that ended the no-hit bid for Dustin May. But nonetheless, it was cool to see him get his first home run in his first game. I mean, being a career minor leaguer for that long and then coming up and getting your first home run in your first game, nonetheless, that was pretty sick.
It was cool, and it was neat. I mean, you don't hear those stories very often, I feel like, where a guy's 28 years old making his MLB debut. I feel like either the player or most of the time the organization bails after a certain amount of time, saying, if you're past 26 years old usually and you haven't made it, I don't know if it's going to pan out, you know?
Well, I think he was a Flyer too. Didn't he come from Kansas City? Isn't that where he was last year? I know he was a late addition in spring training, but he went I don't know where he got.
I forgot where it was. He was somewhere else though, you're right. I forgot though.
He was a couple other places that he had a cup of coffee where he spent most of his minor league career before he actually came up with the Cardinals or got the invite to camp, because he was even in independent ball, I think, before for a little bit. Brewers were the one that apparently drafted him.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, like your Gateway Grizzlies might have played against him, Nick. I don't know if that's what they meant by independent ball. That's the only one I know, that league.
Yeah, no, that is independent ball. There's a couple different leagues that he played in, but yeah, he's been all over. Played in Mexico for a little bit as well. So up and down, but nonetheless, cool to see.
Very cool to see. What was not cool to see was getting swept by the Brew Crew. It was really a shit series. The offense has gone just AWOL. The big game was Wednesday. You needed to win after losing the first two. And what do you get, Nick? You get a gem, and I mean a gem, by Dustin May, who goes all the way into the eighth inning with a no-hitter. And if I would have told you at the start of the eighth inning the Cardinals would May would get a no decision, but also the Cardinals would lose outright, you'd probably tell me I was crazy. But it's a real problem now with Dustin May and his starts, where he has been, I mean, unbelievable since his second start of the year when he was pretty shitty. I think he had an ERA over 10. Since then, been rock solid, but I believe I heard Chip Carey say every game since then the Cardinals have given him only one run at the most, run production for the offense for him. I mean, you can't do much when you got zero run support, and how pissed off has he got to be able to pitch the way he is and still get a no decision and almost a loss? Did he get the no decision, or was it a loss?
He got a no. I believe it was a no decision. I don't know if he was responsible for that the second run that came across. But yeah, again, it was one of those situations where saw this a little bit with Sonny Gray last year. Cardinals frontline starter Dustin May, for all intents and purposes, is our frontline starter, even though he's not really a traditional ace. But when they brought him in, loved the addition. It was tough to see him struggle to start the year, but certainly has refound his stuff the last few starts. But yeah, you get two runs combined in 27 innings, 2 runs combined in a 3-game series. That was arguably the most important one of this little stretch where they're playing a lot of divisional games against the Pirates. They dropped 2 of 3 to them. They split the 1-1 with the Reds because of the rain out. And then they get swept by the Brewers. So definitely going to be an all-important series coming in to Chicago this weekend. We'll get into that in a second. But for Dustin May, I mean, you did everything you possibly could have. And I turned it on, I think, in the 5th inning. And he goes 5, 6, 7. I mean, just breezes right through, gets to that 8th inning. And that's where he ran into trouble. And even we had it on the office. And Trent hadn't heard about the no-hitter yet, so he hadn't sent out a tweet. But we were saying, this just feels like, with only getting 1 run of offense, classic a 2-1 loss. This no hit's going to get broken up, or a home run. Yelich is going to hit a 2-run bomb, and they lose this game 2-1. And sure as shit, that's exactly what happened. Even though the Cardinals did finally wake up a little bit in the 8th, and they got a couple walks. And started to light up a little bit, but Torres' home run just falls short. They don't get that 2-run bomb. And bullpen, I mean, again, JoJo did everything he probably could have in that situation coming in after a leadoff double and they pulled May. So, tough to watch, tough series to lose. 2 runs of
Yeah.
offense, though. I mean,
Brutal.
it just can't get up. Were you surprised that in the third game, I don't know if you want to go over the debacle that happened in the second game with Uribe when he was showboating, but were you surprised that they didn't throw at any of the batters in the third game?
I actually missed it in game 2. So we went down 6-0 pretty late, and I bailed, and I was kind of just watching the box score on my phone and watching the NBA Finals and the NHL or whatever it is in the playoffs for NHL and NBA. And I saw something about Herrera in post game saying something about one of the pitchers from Milwaukee. I'm like, what the hell did I miss? And I go back and I see the crotch chop, Nick, the crotch chop. The triple crotch chop, by the way. That's pretty aggressive. Have you ever single crotch chopped anybody, Nick?
I have never single cross chop. I think last time I saw that was when Aaron Rodgers did the, I guess it was the discount double check.
That's not a crotch chop. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was, and he just like hit it in the fact that he said, "Oh, it's discount double check," but it was kind of like a.
Yeah, no, it was a crotch chop. It was what movie is that from? Is it Major League?
Did they crotch chop in Major League? I feel like I would remember that.
That's where that celebration is from, or from WWE. I think I saw someone has done it before in WWE.
I always think Key and Peele when he does the triple pump in the end zone, but that's an air hump. That's not a crotch chop.
I also saw it on Twitter and X after the fact because I, like you, turned it off and wasn't watching the shit show that was that game. But I guess it all stemmed from the Brewers were stealing signs. The game before that, Ollie was telling their dugout, "Don't do that. That's how people get hit." And then Daniel Vogelbach, who I think is their hitting coach.
Wait, Danny Burgers, the big old dude. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
he's
Vogelbach,
a hitting coach now.
Vogelbach's their hitting coach, and they were getting into it before the game about it because Uribe said that Marmol was telling the Brewers dugout that they were going to hit players, but it was not that. It was the fact that Marmol was saying, "Hey, if you're stealing signs, you're going to get hit." Not that.
Yeah.
So Uribe does not speak English. Maybe have misinterpreted what was going on there.
How do you misinterpret a crotch chop? I think he meant to do what he did because he did it towards our dugout, right?
Misinterpreted what was going on with Marmol because after he struck out Burleson and did the crotch chop, he was kind of saying, "Hey, you're going to chirp us. Here you go. Bada bing, bada boom." That's what kind of set it all off. And then
okay, I wasn't sure what made it happen. I thought he was just like, "Yeah, fuck you guys, we're better." Like I'm just gonna crotch chop you right here.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was just kind of a random thing. And Burleson was waiting for ABS, which after I saw the clip, I was praying that was a ball. How hilarious would that have been?
Oh, that would have been so
triple
good.
Crotch chop, and he's a ball on the ABS.
Well, and that was the thing too. Marmol and Vogelbach, I think, had words before game 3, and then but the whole thing was Marmol said after game 2, he's like, "No, we're not going to throw out players. This has been handled." Yelich said, "No, it's been handled between the two dugouts. We've already talked, whatever." And it's like, to me, and I think Bernie was talking about this on Sports Central this morning or yesterday in a column, like, if you're, if this is old school Cardinal baseball, if this is Tony La Russa, for sure someone's getting drilled, and that's kind of like tit for tat. That's, that's baseball. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
You settle it on the field in between the lines, not in post-game press conferences and, off the field. Like, happen on the field, handle it on the field, drill Yelich in the back on the first pitch, call it a day. It's over and move on. So are you mad that they're not going after the Brewers guys in that situation?
No, I'm not mad about it. I actually was watching intently, expecting something to happen, because I kept hearing like, oh, especially May, Tim McKernan on TMA on 101 ESPN in town mentioned that he said the best way he said it was Dustin May's got a little Chris Carpenter in him. Like, you don't fuck with him. You know what I mean? He's just a kind of a guy that he has a little energy, that maybe a little lack of emotion, but kind of a badass type of mentality, I guess you could say. So I was waiting for May to drill Yelich. Didn't happen. And I think it's also to the point of it was a relief pitcher that did it. So like, why? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's one of those things where if the Brewers, after the
No,
game kind of don't really talk about it. Like their manager goes up and says there's no reason to do that. Like kind of basically said that was bullshit for him to do, and I
yeah,
don't know if he was trying to basically, de-escalate the situation,
for
but
sure.
I didn't see it happening. To me, it was like a 50-50 shot, and then when it didn't happen, I wasn't surprised, and I really wasn't disappointed. It was just kind of like,
No,
what's going to happen? And the only reason I was ready for it was because of the old school rivalry where you had
hmm
Tony and Dusty Baker going at it with the Cubs Cardinals, and kind of that old school baseball mentality. I was excited to see that kind of flare up a little bit, but when it didn't happen, I wasn't shocked.
yeah. I think it's one of those things that Pat Murphy, downplayed it in the post game press conference. Did not back his player at all. Uribe's a rookie. He apologized to his team and his coaching staff. Didn't apologize to the Cardinals. So I think there's going to be some carryover. I don't hate. I'm mixed on it. Like, because I think one of the relievers should have thrown at one of the Brewers players. I thought, JoJo could have done the funniest thing ever if he had gotten out of that inning, that eighth inning with the 1-0 lead still after the leadoff double, that he would do the crotch chop at them. I don't think he's
Oh yeah.
the kind of player to do that, but like that would have been really funny. Kind of a la, I think it was Miles Michaelis that
Yes,
did it
I was just going to
with
bring this up.
against the Nationals when Soto
Yes.
grabs his crotch. Michaelis struck him out, grabbed his crotch. So like, because that's the thing is like without any veterans on this team, all these guys are young. They're still fighting for their positions. They don't necessarily maybe want to make a big scene, but I guarantee if Wilson Contreras was on our team right
Oh,
now, if Sonny Gray, if Miles Michaelis, Lance Lynn, if any of these guys are still on our team, they would have probably taken that into their own hands, even against the will of their coach Marmol, who's probably, again, you gotta understand too from Marmol's perspective, and this is the one thing where I back him up on. It's a long season. And I think this is going to carry over into the next series against the Brewers, but also you are coming off of 2 back-to-back losses against the Brewers, 2 out of 3 to the Pirates, and you got the Cubs coming to town. So like,
yeah.
if you're
You don't
worried
have
about
much to crotch chop about at this point.
there's
Let's just
nothing to
say
crotch
that.
chop about, and like you don't want to risk someone getting suspended right before you come
Correct.
home against your first series against your true rival in the Cubs in a weekend series. You don't want to risk losing a player. And even if May were to throw at him and then maybe he gets ejected, then you're all screwed up. So like I think this is a spot where you're going to bring in Stanek in a specific spot against the Brewers, probably where you're losing. Maybe if they're up big, you bring in Stanek, you drill one of their better players, 103 to the ribs, or as
See, I don't know
hard
if
as
it's
he
gonna
can possibly
happen.
throw it.
I
I don't think it.
disagree. I think
I
it's
don't think
past
it.
it now. You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
think it may not, but like I could see those bullpen guys not forgetting about this and taking matters, like, again, one of those older veterans in the bullpen taking it into their own hands and elongating it a little bit, just because, again, it's a rivalry. It has to be a specific spot. They're not going to risk losing a game or a certain scenario. But again, I don't think this one's forgotten by everybody. And even
No.
if Pat Murphy downplays it and Uribe apologizes, like, still happened. Like, they're still
No.
pissed and like, going to carry over in the
Something
next
could
series.
still like flare up because I don't think it's gonna be forgotten. It's more about throwing at the guy. I don't know if that's gonna happen because here's what I will say. Even though nothing quote unquote happened during the game, you could see. I mean, yeah, he had a no hitter going on through 7, but he, May had some super big time emotions out there. And like,
Yes.
I think it could have added to the fire a little bit. Like, all right, fuck these guys. Like, they're going to crotch chop us. I'm going to no hit their ass and we're going to win this game.
That would have been the best. Oh, man. That
Oh,
would
that
have
would
been
have
the
been
best
incredible. And I feel so
response.
bad for him because, Nick, the main thing I wanted to get into is the offense. Because, I mean, everybody besides Walker, and Walker's not even raking at this point. He's just, like, getting on base, which is great. But JJ's had trouble at the plate. Gorman continues to struggle. Mason Wynn has struggled immensely, and then he makes a massive error in the eighth
Mhm.
inning that basically gives Milwaukee the game, which you never see him do that. And I think it's more you put Mason in the spotlight when he makes an error like that because he's not producing at the plate. You go, oh, well, at least he's dynamite on defense. And I know it's one error, but when he makes one that decides the game and he's not hitting, it just really hurts. Really does.
It does, and that's one of those things. I think with this offense, you kind of knew coming into this year, hey, this offense is losing 2 of their bigger power hitters, and Wilson Contreras and Nolan Arenado. Where is the power going to come from? Certainly, Jordan Walker has stepped up to the plate, but he's only one player. He can't carry the entire lineup. And for as good as JJ's been, he's definitely started to have his cold spells. He's a rookie. Like the production that you're getting though from the 5 through 9 guys, I mean, is just, especially with Nathan Church out now, like it's non-existent. Victor Scott, Jose Fermin. I mean, you could go down the lineup. They tried to bring up Torres, who I think actually has taken some good at bats. It's his first home run. Hopefully that gives them a little bit of a spark, but like Mason's not. Gorman is, again, we already talked about Gorman last week, but Mason, for as good as his defense was last year, he's really struggled so far this year. And Mason's a guy, like, that's one of their building blocks. He's going to turn it around. You really need Burleson, Gorman, that middle of the order hitters to really carry you throughout, because and if we can even get something, I mean, this kind of stemmed on the conversation, if you guys haven't listened to last week's episode, about who our starting 9 would be.
Just bluesandcards.com. You can check it out. Go ahead, Nick.
When you look at that 7, 8, 9, that's where you have Pajes hitting. That's where you have Victor Scott hitting. That's where you have whoever you're playing in left field hitting. And now Herrera might be banged up. There was some talk of him tweaking something in the last game. Like, you really need some production from that 7, 8, 9. And like, what a time right now for Lars Nootbaar to come back, because he's going to be back in the next, I don't know exactly when he comes back. I don't think it's this weekend series. Is it against the Cubs?
I don't know. It's soon. We'll see. I mean,
I think it's like,
I don't know how much of a jolt he's going to put into the team. He's just not that explosive. But I think you need more bodies in the outfield at this point.
Yeah, I think you actually will see a jolt. I'm very interested to see how he comes in, because I think this may be a spot where you can decide to change the lineup from time to time. You can decide what you want to do with JJ, but you could put Newt back in his spot, which was leadoff before JJ came up, or you can put Newt in that 6-7, try to give a spark towards the bottom of the lineup.
6-7, Nick. 6-7.
He's going to be a guy that I think is going to give some pep into the step of this offense, not even both in the field and on the bench, and offensively.
You're big fan of Pepper Grinder, are you?
I mean, he's just one of those locker room guys that fan favorite. People love him. Like, I would love to see him back against Chicago this weekend. I don't know when he's eligible to come off. I think it says eligible to come off on May 24th, so that was 4 days ago. I know he's been doing some rehab assignments, but I think having him in the lineup will hopefully give them that spark. But it's just like, it sucks as all the guys are going cold at the same time, and that's where you've seen them lose 7 of 8, and like the pitching staff can only do so much. Like, sure, you probably want some of these starters to go deeper in games. It feels like they've all
and you're doing it against division foes too. That's the hardest part. You're doing it against the games you have to win to stay in the contention. I mean, it is crazy because it's a game of streaks, as we know. Like the Cubs at one point won 9 in a row. Now they're on. Did they lose yesterday? I didn't even check. 11 in a row.
Yeah, I don't know if they lost yesterday. I know they were at 10 in a row. Let me check the Carfax on that one.
By the way, shout out my dad. If anybody doesn't know who Big Web is, he's going to the Pirates-Cubs game in Pittsburgh tonight, randomly. So maybe I hope he doesn't break the streak for the Cubs if they're on 11.
Nope, they did win. They did win yesterday. 10-4. They finally won. So they broke that streak. Hopefully they don't get hot this weekend when they come into town to play St. Louis.
Yeah, ideally not. I think the Cardinals. Here's where I wanted to go with this too. Before I know we wanted to make this a shorter show. So Nick, I got a little trivia question for you. I'm gonna have trivia for you every day on the board. So just get prepared.
Nice.
I say every day, every show. By the way, check us out, justbluesandcards.com. You can go on there, check out our past shows. You can check out our YouTube channel and also our podcast feed on Apple Podcasts. That's justbluesandcards.com. Also, we have a voicemail line if you'd like to call in, leave your thoughts. We'd love to play them and react to them. So one more time, it's justbluesandcards.com. Nick, what the fuck was I saying? This is why I miss podcasting.
You have a trivia question for me that you're going to give me, but first people are going to call in and bitch about the Cardinals.
Yes, but I was going to say something before that, and when I get into my spiel,
Big Web is going to Pittsburgh.
We already talked about that. Damn it!
And then you said,
I got what it is. I got it. You ready? I got. Hold on, Nick. This is trivia in a minute, but I got one more question for you. This is here. I got to start fresh because this is where the clip comes in. You're a social media editor. You know how it works. Okay, 3, 2, and 1. I went to broadcast school. Nick. Okay, let me redo it. Here we go. Nick, if you had to say right now, on May 28th, 2026, do the St. Louis Cardinals make the postseason? What do you think?
No, absolutely not. I do not think
You
their
didn't even
pitching.
like wait on that. That was an
No,
instant
yeah,
call.
no
Wow.
way, no way. Again, they're just in a division that is the best in baseball. They will not win their division.
Mm.
The Brewers will win this division,
Mm-hmm.
like they do every single year. Cubs, if the Cubs play extremely well, they will have an opportunity to win the division.
Mm.
But the Reds, Cardinals, and Pirates will not make the playoffs, and they will not win the division.
Okay.
Dodgers and Padres will be in it. Braves will be in it.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is there? That's going to be probably
Diamondbacks are playing all right in the
yeah,
wild
probably a
card a
third
little
team from
bit.
the NL West,
Yeah.
honestly. But no, the Cardinals, even if by the off chance that they had a wild card, like they would have no chance in the playoffs because they don't have the starting pitching. But the starting pitching has been the primary issue for the longevity of this team because a lot of these guys haven't been able to go past 5 innings or they've blown up once they've reached the 5th inning. You know, some of these guys are newer starters. Palante had been shaky at times. Leahy can't really get through by the 5th inning. Leahy is done. Liberatore has struggled through the 5th inning.
Yep.
So and it's just going to strain the bullpen even more. Like the bullpen has had some weak spots from time to time. Riley O'Brien has taken a step back, and then like I said, the offense just gone cold. And when it matters most against divisional opponents, like you can't lose 3 in a row to the Brewers. You can't lose 2 of 3 to the Pirates. Like
Yep.
that is where you have to win series more than ever. And to the Cardinals' credit, they have played well up to this point in the season, but I just don't think that they're going to have the horses in the back half of the season. I think, they've been lucky to not have anybody get injured yet. But in a rebuilding year, they just don't have the horses to carry them through the full 162. And I don't think that's, going to be a surprise in July when you see them kind of in the middle of the division.
Yeah. No, you said it. I think we had a little bit of smoke and mirrors going on at the beginning of the year because we saw this team that was exciting, and they're still exciting to watch because there's a lot of storylines coming for the future. But the way that they were 9 games over 500, I'm sitting there going, are they contending this year? Like, are they shocking the world? But you mentioned they haven't really dealt with many injuries up until this point, at least with guys that started opening day. Now Church is out. You see Herrera getting banged up here and there. Like, you're going to have some more that pop up. And not only that, but some of the guys were hitting better than you expected. I do like Church right now, but I don't expect him to continue the way he started. You see JJ again. Everybody expects him to be an all-star, but like you said, he's a rookie. He's going to struggle at times. Jordan Walker, do we expect him to do this all season? God, I hope so, but I don't think that's going to happen
Would be
either.
nice.
So would be very nice. But there are things that have happened and gone the Cardinals' way that I think will start to fall off. The pitching, as you mentioned, was unbelievable the first month of the season. I don't think anybody expected what we saw out of Liberatore, out of McGreevy, out of a lot of these guys, Palante especially. And here we go. They can't get past the 4th, 5th inning, and they're getting rocked, and the bullpen is just not the same. Riley O'Brien's struggled at times. So with that all being said, about a month, or I'd say a couple weeks ago, I actually put it at about, I'd say 55, 60% they make the playoffs. Like, they just seem like they're in every game. Now that I've seen how they're playing against the division, how the pitching has fallen off, how the injuries are not really stacking up, just kind of starting to linger in, I don't know, Nick. I'd like to say 32% still. Like, I still think they have a shot. I don't know.
That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, they're probably a 35% team, but I mean, just like looking at the standings right now, they're in a tie for what would be the 3rd wild card spot with the Cubs at 29-25. They're 4 games over 500. But the Reds are right behind them at a half game. The Phillies are playing a lot better. The Pirates are going to play pretty good baseball, if not better baseball than the Cardinals, probably the rest of the way. Nationals are still in there. So, there's enough teams that can bounce the Cardinals out because that would be the worst position for them to be in, would be in that 3rd wild card spot come July 31st trade deadline. And for them to maybe move some guys when I think they're in a situation where they need to continue to add and develop. And, they have some pieces, but they don't have the full team. Like we talked about that earlier, right? Like their 1 through 4, their 1 through 5 is decent. Like JJ Weatherholt, Mason Wynn, they're good. Jordan Walker is hot right now, but will these guys do that for the next 5 to 10 years? Is this your Jim Edmonds, Scott Roll, and Albert Pujols? Probably not. So they have good solid pieces, but just the bottom half of their lineup, and coupled with the fact that they don't have that front end ace starter. That's the biggest thing I think we didn't really touch on it last week, but I'll make the point this week, is that the strikeout stuff from the pitchers across the board, like they don't have it. Their bullpen doesn't have it. Like their bullpen is not big strikeout guys. They don't have the Ryan Helsley like they had last year. And their front end starters, like they don't have that strikeout stuff. They don't have a Jacob Mizorowski that can throw 103 and strike out 15 batters. Like the guys are being efficient, but again, they just don't have enough horses in the pen.
Why do you hate Matt Swanson? I don't understand.
Matt May, again, a lot of young guys that are still learning, still figuring out what their role is. And then they will have to go add veterans to this team at some point to fill in some roster holes that they currently have, like a Nolan Gorman at third base. Like it just, you kind of know, again, we talked about it last week, you know what some of these guys are, and they're going to have to replace some of them. And that just goes to show, even if they were to get that third wild card spot or a second wild card spot, like you're beating the Braves, you're beating the Dodgers, you're beating the Brewers. No, you can't even make it out of our own league. And at that point, it doesn't matter.
Nick,
only
I got
one World Series winner.
With that being said, I got a quick question for you. I put $10 on the Cardinals to win $4,000 plus 40,000 to win the World Series. Now I'm getting a cash out of $16.50. Do I cash out, take the $6.50 profit?
I would take it. Again, no, you don't take those. You ride that. It's $10.
You got to ride that. Yeah,
it's $10.
But that $16.50 could turn into something else if I put it on the Blues to win the Stanley Cup. See how I put the Blues into the show because it's just Blues and Cards.
Just Blues and Cards. Well, we like what Alex Steen is doing over there.
You said the last show. You said the same fucking thing. I like what that Alex Steen's doing over there.
He hasn't done anything yet.
I know he hasn't done shit. I'm a big Binnington fan.
Hasn't done shit. Nonetheless, though, no, I think the Cardinals will not make the playoffs, and that's okay. Again, there can only be one World Series winner. And I don't think this is the team to do it. And I don't think that's a very hot take.
That was an FS1 hot take. That's like what those guys that get paid $30,000 on sports radio say all the time. Like, you know what? I don't think they're gonna make it. And call in right now on the
don't think that's a hot
Gateway
take. Say that the Cardinals are not going to win the World Series. I don't think that's a very hot take.
I agree that they're not going to. I agree with you that they're not going to make the playoffs. Nick, justbluesandcards.com is how you can get involved with the program. You can check out all of our channels, social media channels, and watch all past shows. I have a little trivia question.
Okay.
I don't know if it's not a single question. I have what I would like to call the bored segment, all right? And you're not going to be bored by this segment. But what you're going to do is you're going to name me the top 10 Cardinals franchise home run leaders of all time. Now, what this means is these are guys that have hit this amount of home runs in a Cardinal uniform.
Yep.
So I'll give you one because I know you're going to say it. Albert Pujols, for instance, is on this list. He may not necessarily be number one, and obviously you don't see his home run total up in the 700s up here because the highest we have is 475 because it's only in a Cardinal uniform. So, Nick, I want you to name as many in the top 10 as you possibly can for the history of your St. Louis Cardinals.
All right, Albert Pujols, Stan Musial, I believe, has the most.
Go one by one. Hey, this is a process. Go one by one. I'll tell you if you're right or wrong, and I'll tell you where it is.
Okay, Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols, correct. He is number 2 with 469.
Stan Musial.
Stan Musial is number 1 with 475. Good job, Nick. Those are really tough.
You said it's just for their Cardinals career, correct?
Just for their Cardinals career. That's correct.
Okay.
Musial 1, Pujols 2. And
Jim
then
Edmonds.
a big drop off after that. Who'd you say?
Jimmy Ballgame.
Jimmy Ballgame, number 4 at 241.
Scott Rowland.
Should we give you strikes on this? What do you think? Or just
sure.
see how many you can name. What do you think? 5 strikes? We'll give you 5 because it gets some tough names here. 5 strikes.
Okay.
That's
Rowland.
strike 1 for you.
Damn it. Roger Hornsby.
Rogers Hornsby is, I believe that's correct. That's correct, Nick. Number 7, 193
Nice.
for Rogers Hornsby.
For Rogers Hornsby. I'm trying to think. I guess it's all time. I'm trying to think of some older.
All-time Cardinals, correct.
Yeah, all-time Cardinals. Oh, obviously Mark McGwire. Duh.
Mark McGwire is on the list at number 6 at 220. I wonder if people would think he's higher, but they forget.
Probably.
Because I think he was there a long time and not so much. He was with the A's for most of his career.
Most of his career, right. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like Cardinals that were on the Cardinals for a long time.
You got 3, 5, 8, 9, and 10 still empty. And one strike on the board with Scott Rolen.
Okay. He wasn't there long enough, but I'm going to take a stab at Larry Walker.
Larry Walker is incorrect, sir. Incorrect.
Damn it. What about Ted Simmons?
Ted Simmons is number 10, Nick. Number 10.
Nice. Wow. Pulled that one out of my ass.
Very nice. Old Ted Simmons.
Love
number
to
10
see
at
that.
172 in his Cardinal career.
What about a lot of these guys, like the Whitey Ball days, there wasn't a lot of pop. Like Ozzie, Willie, they're not going to be on
Some
there.
of these names, I'll be honest, there are. No, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. You keep
What
cooking.
about, I'm going to take another stab. Yeah, because a lot of these I think are going to be older guys. Orlando Cepeda.
Orlando Cepeda is incorrect. I will go over some honorable mention, just past number 10. But Cepeda is not on the list in the top 10.
Okay. Big boppers on the card. Is there one like in modern era that I should get?
There's one in modern era. I don't know if you should get it. It might shock you. It shocked me.
What was like the year? I have a hint.
You want like a decade?
Sure.
I'm gonna give it away. Well, for sure, all the way through the 2010s and even into early 2020s.
Even early 2020.
It's gonna shock you. This one was like.
Oh, okay. I see. I kind of see where you're going.
It's not who you're thinking, but I know who you're.
I know it's not. I know it's not who I'm thinking. Is it Lance Berkman?
Lance Berkman is incorrect.
Oh fuck!
That's not. You have one more strike to go.
Shit, is it either of the two? All-time Cardinals home run. Paul Goldschmidt. I gotta go, Paul.
Goldie is also incorrect.
Is it Arenado?
No, it's Yachty.
Oh, what, dude? Yachty was on my mind, and I just didn't say him. I should have said Yachty.
Yachty, I honestly was shocked when I saw this, but the dude played here forever. Yadier Molina, 176 at number 9.
I forgot about because I was thinking like longevity of players that are there. Yachty, damn. Because when I was on Orlando Cepeda, that's when I was gonna say Yachty. Fuck. Well,
Jim Bottomley.
That's the only other one I probably would have got. Who else was there?
Jim Bottomley was number 8 at 181. Nick, have you ever heard of Jim Bottomley? I'll be honest.
I've never heard that name in my entire life until just now. So no.
I want to say he played in like he was born in 1900, Nick. He debuted in 1922. So how the fuck did you miss that one?
That would make sense. I wasn't born then.
Number 5 was an outfielder, Nick, with the name of Ray Langford.
Ray Langford. I should have gotten Langford. Yeah.
228. And number 3, another one. This is from our parents' age. Ken Boyer, 255.
Yeah, Ken Boyer was that was where I was on the Orlando Cepeda and someone. So who was the other old guy? Ted Simmons.
Ted Simmons, Boyer. Let's see. Bottomley for sure.
Yeah.
Stan, we knew. Albert, we knew. Pretty good list. You know,
I had a handful. I had like 4. I think I got.
You did for sure. Yeah. Well, no, you got 6. You got Stan, 6. Albert, Edmonds, McGuire, Hornsby. Ted Simmons.
Hornsby. I got Hornsby,
Hornsby.
And I knew there was another one. Boyer and Hornsby were the kind of 2 that I was.
Some honorable mentions: Matt Carpenter, 11th at 159.
Wow. Okay.
Matt Holliday, 13th at 156.
Knew he wasn't on there.
Goldie is 14th at 153. Not a bad guess. Lou Brock, 18th, 129. Not a big home run hitter. Nato is 21st at 118. Guess who's in front of Scott Rolen, Nick? By 4. Your guy, Paul DeYoung.
Paul DeYoung. Wow. Wow.
Who would have thought?
Wow.
Who would have thought? There you go. That is
Scott Rolen wasn't a pop hitter? I thought Scott Rolen had some pop in his bat.
apparently Rowan only had 111 home runs. I know. I was shocked by that too.
Well, that year when it was Pujols, Edmonds, Roland, and Reggie Sanders and Larry Walker, like those 5 made up for that was the year of what was that, like 04?
04. Well, he got here in what, 03? He was with the Phillies before
Yeah,
that.
that was 04. Roland, Larry Walker, because Larry Walker
Pujols, Edmonds, Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Larry Walker came over right like on one of those last seasons of Busch 2.
Oh yeah, no, Walker was there on the World Series team. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the best Cardinal teams of all time that never won it.
Insane.
100%. Yeah, man. Well, good job. You did pretty good. Honestly, I would have got Stan, Albert, Edmonds, McGuire. I wouldn't have got Yachty. I probably would have said Ray Langford. That's about it. I mean, honestly,
would you have gotten Hornsby?
I probably would have said Hornsby. Here's my thing. I know a lot of older players like by name, but I don't know seriously much about their playing ability. Like I didn't know I knew Hornsby was kind of a home run hitter. Never knew Simmons was a home run hitter.
Yeah, Ted Simmons. Yeah,
didn't know that.
He had some pop.
Ken Boyer, I know the name, but I never would have I wouldn't have thought of him as a home run guy. I don't know why, but it's hard when you go by franchise. You know, because Pujols would easily be number 1, but you're like, oh yeah, he played for the Angels for 11 years or whatever.
Sure.
So kind of wild, but yeah. There you go, Nick. That's our episode today, man. We got a big Cubs series coming up here this weekend.
Huge.
Fired up.
Can't wait to talk about that next week. Hopefully, can't wait to talk about that next week.
I'm excited to hear you talk about how great Alex Dean's going to do next week for the Blues talk. We will talk Blues at some point. It's off season.
It is
our off season, but there's not really much going on, Nick. It's just
maybe after the Stanley Cup's over, we can do a little off season debrief. Maybe do some hypothetical trades. You know, TJ, people love to see love to see your knowledge on hypothetical trades. If we're going to trade Jordan Binnington or Robert Thomas in the offseason for
McDavid or something,
for Connor McDavid or something like that. Yeah, we'll see. We're
going full AM sports talk then. That's great. I'm excited. Okay, we'll do that. Maybe I'll do a Blues trivia question next week so we can change it up a little bit. All right. Perfect. All right, man. Well, that's going to do it. Thank you to my co-host Nick Yale all the way from Dallas, Texas. Once again, it's Just Blues and Cards, justbluesandcards.com if you want to check out past shows, all of our social media handles and whatnot. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.